Welcome back to Kyler Speaks, episode number 13. Lucky number 13. You know, 13 is considered to be unlucky, and I've been thinking a lot lately just about how lucky and fortunate I truly am. And so I thought that topic would be great. It could be something great to speak about on episode number 13. So make sure you like and subscribe. This account's been growing. It's been growing like crazy, and I'm extremely thankful. So thank you. Now let's get into the episode. We don't really take the time to recognize just how fortunate we are in just what we have. As humans, I guess, we just get complacent. Even if you don't have a Ferrari and you don't have a nice house or a house at all, even if you're on the street, well, you might have your health. And if you don't have your health, then you have people around you that love you. And one day those people are going to go. They're going to die. And then you're going to die. And so what's the point? What is the point to all of this? And why don't we appreciate that in the moment? It's really difficult to appreciate that in the moment. You know, I recently had my grandfather pass away, and it broke me because he was the person that held my family together. He was, everything. And I'm not gonna lie, it's made it really difficult for me to go and see my grandmother, and I've kind of been putting it off. And that's super, super selfish of me. I get it. But it just hurts me so bad to have to think about that. And it sucks because when someone dies, you shouldn't think about them dying. You should think about all the times, the special, precious memories that you shared with that person. But it's hard to sometimes. It's like such a traumatic event that it gets imprinted, tattooed onto your brain, and then you're just in denial. What are the 5 stages of grief? Whatever they may be. What is it? Guilt, anger, blah, 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 blah. Denial, acceptance, finally. That's kind of what it feels like. And everyone's going through something. That's what we don't take time to consider. Everyone you see on the street, when you say, "Hi, how are you doing?" "Great, how are you?" Well, they might not be great. And if they are, then that's a blessing. You should be happy for everyone around you that is doing something great. Everyone always says there's 2 ways to build the tallest building in the world. You can construct it brick by brick, or you could tear everyone else's building down until yours is the absolute highest, tallest building. But do you feel accomplished from doing that? Probably not. Probably not. Maybe. But that's not how I want to go through my life. So I try to appreciate other people's happiness, and I try to find it myself, and it's difficult. I think this generation, just speaking for myself, we find it exceptionally hard to be happy. And I don't know why. I have a couple ideas. I think the internet is a massive distraction from happiness because, like I always say, comparison is the thief of joy. And so you can't be thankful for anything you have in your life because your little monkey mind is just thinking about how you can get the next best thing. It's hard for you, especially when you're intelligent. I don't even like to say I'm intelligent because it compares, it depends on what you're comparing it to. But a lot of people, I guess, say I am. And I've done, you know, quite a few things that would probably put me in that category. And whatever it is that I am or have mentally, my mental faculties and capacities, it makes it to where it's extremely hard to be happy sometimes. And honestly, sometimes I wish I could just drop out and just become Amish. The Amish are so fucking happy. They work very, very hard with their hands, doing, you know, not necessarily just menial tasks, but They do communal tasks when it's medial, trivial tasks. And then they also have professions where they specialize in things like woodworking. They work with their hands. I think that's what makes, especially men, very, very happy. There's something primal in that, like fishing or camping. And then they are big on family. They eat together. They don't consume social media. They're not keeping up with the Joneses. Maybe the Yoders, but not the Joneses. And they might feel that way. They might be like, yeah, um, I don't even know an Amish name, but Nathaniel across the way has a nicer horse than I have. Now I feel bad. I have to get rid of Betsy and trade her in for a brand new horse. I'm sure they feel that way from time to time. They're people, right? But they're not consumed by materialism like we are. Materialism is a drug. It really is. And the more fucked up your childhood was and the more fucked up you feel your life is, the more you try to fill that hole with things. Fancy, shiny things. And do they make you happy? I don't know. For me, they really don't. Maybe for someone else, they might. Everything's temporary, anyways. You wouldn't want to be happy all the time. You wouldn't want to. Alan Watts was actually someone that I really spent a lot of time listening to when I was in my early teenage years. He's on YouTube. And he said basically that if you could be God and you could design your life exactly how you wanted it, you would go through all these things. You would say, I want to be king of the world. I want to be emperor. I want to live in the Roman times and be a famous conqueror. I want to have 1,000 women feeding me grapes. Then, after a while, you would get sick of that. And you would say, let me switch it up a bit. And then you would switch it and switch it and switch it until you said, you know what? I want a little bit of randomness in my life. And before you know it, you would have chosen upon the exact life that you're living right now. And I know in the current moment, it may suck. It's hard out there for some people. You have to pay bills, you have to take care of your family, you don't feel like you're being appreciated sometimes. Maybe you got into a marriage that you're not particularly happy with. Maybe you don't get to see your children as much as you'd like to. Maybe your boss is an absolute piece of shit at work and you don't get a pat on the back for anything good you do, or you get blamed for the bad that is done by others. Yeah, that could very well happen, but you have to see the good in life. I got asked the other day, once again, what do you want to do? What makes you happy? And I thought to myself, you know, everyone always compares me to Good Will Hunting. Some people see it as a compliment. I probably see it as a slap in the face because Will has so much potential and things that are so difficult for others to do, he can do easily without ever having to put in any effort whatsoever. It comes effortlessly to him. And he's wasted potential because he could do such great, extraordinary things with his life, but he's afraid. He's afraid because he had a fucked up past. And he doesn't want to get burned. He doesn't want to be betrayed. He doesn't want to be let down. And that's kind of like me. You know, I could have became a doctor. I was very close to becoming a doctor. And I always tell people I didn't want to move or I didn't want to spend the money. But the truth of the matter is that A, I had scholarships through Mensa, and B, I had a bunch of grants. And even if I did have to move, which I inevitably would have had to, I could have figured it out. The honest truth, if I sit down and look in the mirror, is I was afraid of failing. And I don't like being backed into corners. That's why I don't have any tattoos. I don't like permanent things. I want there to always be an out. I want there to always be a safety net. And that's not the way life works. There are no safety nets. And if you really want to do something extraordinary with your life, you have to go beyond your comfort. You have to you have to go past your comfort zone. That's what has to be done. And it may be frightening at times, it may be scary, but you just have to hone in and hold your breath and face your fears and overcome that shit. And you might fail, but so what? At least you tried. I heard something a while back that I thought was pretty funny, and it really puts things into perspective. I'll compare it to me becoming a doctor. So it's like now, because I got asked the other day, it's like, why don't you just go back? And I said, I'm too old now. 30. Who's going to pay my bills? Who's going to take care of my responsibilities I have to others around me? I can't do it. And the truth is that even if you don't want to go back and you think that's a waste of time, let's say it takes you 10 years. Well, if I'm 30 now, when I'm 40, which for me, I only had to go back for 2 years, but let's say I'm starting from scratch, 10 years at 30. When I'm 40, I could be a doctor. But it's not a waste. It's not like I'm just procrastinating something. Like I'm living life throughout that process. It's not like I just blink and those 10 years are gone. You're going to be doing whatever the fuck you do throughout those 10 years. And so it might as well be pursuing something. But when I really sit down and think about what I want to do, this is it. This is it. I really want to do this with my life. This is what makes me happy. And the sad thing is, I've always wanted to speak in front of a camera and be real. That's what got me through so many things throughout my life. And I can't thank those people enough, even though I've never met them, the majority of them. They just put out YouTube videos. I never thought that was a reality for me. I didn't even consider that to be an option because of where I live. And it just, things like that, I thought couldn't happen for me. And then I met someone that was doing it. I met this kid named Adrian Harding at my old apartment. For those of you who don't know, I got into a bad car accident. I got hit by a car and I was unable to work for a year. So I met him and I had no idea who he was, but other people around me did. I got to know him and he's doing it now from where I live, right here in Wichita, Kansas. And if he can do it, then I can do it. He's the one that kind of gave me the feeling that, okay, this is a roadmap. Now, and although I don't do the same shit that he does, I'm not pranking people in Walmart. And by the way, that's all a facade. That's all show. He's actually a really, really brilliant kid. He's really smart. You know, he knows how to get eyeballs. And attention is the currency of the 21st century. He, despite being young, put that into my head. And I thought to myself, wow, if he can do it, I can do it. And I like this because it's malleable, right? I could talk about anything I'd like. I don't have to be put in a box. That's exactly what I run away from, is being put into a box. I don't want that for myself. I don't want to feel trapped, ever. And to be quite honest with you, this doesn't even feel like work to me. I know that over time, it's going to get more and more complex and take over more and more of my time, but I'm ready. I'm ready for the journey, and I'm going to slowly build it. And with every new subscriber I get, every comment I get, every bit of criticism or accolades that I receive from each individual person will just push me even harder. But the truth of the matter is, I don't even need people to watch me. Yeah, it would be great because what I intend on doing is creating a community where I can talk about anything I'd like and we can share stories back and forth, and I can have my fans on my podcasts as guests after 100. So I'm doing 100 videos of just me, just like this. I'm getting used to being in front of a camera and being open and vulnerable and not thinking about what you guys want to hear, but rather what is important to me and on my mind, and what is it that I'm wanting to say? What exactly do I want to express to you? Instead of just putting on some big show. If you want to see someone juggle fire or eat 1,000 hamburgers or in 24 hours, then that's not me. I'm not that. I'm more real and honest and raw. And so over time, after 100 videos, then I will start pursuing interviews with people. But in the meantime, I just want the world to get to know me. And I know that seems super ick. That doesn't, I don't mean it like that. I don't mean I want the world to know who I am because I'm so important. No, it's just I want the people that watch this to feel as if they know me, like I haven't held anything back. I've talked about wanting to end it all. I've talked about being happy. I've talked about love. I've talked about the things that bother me the most, my fears, my frustrations, everything. And I think that's necessary. The people that make the most impact online are the ones that you feel like you know. And I want you to feel like you know me. I have a lot I have a lot to be thankful for when it comes to this YouTube endeavor. Although I'm just a baby. This is my 13th video. I have a lot to be grateful for, and to be quite honest with you, this is therapy for me. This is really meaningful to me. This is a way for me to express myself. A lot of people don't have that outlet, including myself, especially men, younger men. They don't have anyone to talk to. If they're lucky, they may have 5 friends, 2 of which they could call anytime, one of which they'll be friends with for life. And most of us don't even have that. We see people at work, kind of, maybe at school, but you don't really have anyone that has your back. And you don't have anyone to talk to. That's what this is. I think it's a wonderful thing. And as topics come up, universal topics, I'd like to have the ability to express them with you. And I want you guys to be part of the conversation. I want you guys to talk amongst yourselves and with me through the comments, and I want this to be like its own little private bubble of free thought, deep thought, and expression. Not a safety bubble. Say whatever you want, as long as you don't say anything too bad. I don't want you to get yourself banned from YouTube. But I want it to be a place where there's freedom of speech and anyone and everyone can have a voice. Because I know I'm not the only one that goes through all these things. And I wish when I was younger I had someone just like me that could talk some sense into me, tell me to slow down, tell me to stop and smell the roses. Just guide me. Just guide me. What a father is supposed to do, which I didn't have one, they're supposed to put footsteps down for you. So when you walk, you can walk within their footsteps toward a successful future or towards something, towards happiness, whatever that is to you. And when you don't have that, you feel like the world has disowned you. You feel like you have no one to latch onto. And I get it. That's why on the south side of Chicago, all these kids are raising themselves in gangs, and they are being taught how to survive in the real world and how to become not just a man, but a noble man, someone worth being, someone that fights for what they think is right, even with everyone else disagreeing with them, someone that will take a stand, someone that knows how to be violent, but yet chooses not to be violent because they know they could overtake a situation physically, but they choose to speak so eloquently that it disarms everyone around them simply with the cuts of their tongue rather than the impact of their fist. That's what I'd like to become, and I slowly am. It took a lot of introspection for me. I had to really, really sit down and ask myself, who am I? What am I doing wrong? And who do I want to become? Make goals for yourself. But that is exactly what I want to create on here. And I'm getting better, guys. I know I'm not the best orator. I know I'm not the best speaker, but I have the passion and I'm not going to quit. That's the great thing about this. If you don't quit, it's impossible for you to fail. Impossible. So, just some food for thought. I have to get ready to go to work. But thank you very much. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time for episode number 14.